Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is another volume of Blind Buy Chronicles. I started this series to share with you how the fragrances that I have purchased have worked out for me. Give you some quick thoughts on them. So these aren't extensive reviews of the fragrances, just some quick notes on what stands out. Quick notes about the notes. Do you see what I did there? Some quick notes about what stands out to me about the fragrance, whether it worked out for me, whether it's staying, whether I need to play with it some more, or whether it needs to find its way out of my house. So I have 20 to share with you in this video. Admission, not all of these are complete blind buys, but I thought it'd be fun to stick them in here anyway. I'm going to start with an oldie but a goodie. And let me start by saying there are very few fragrances that once I get rid of them, I regret getting rid of them. I can mention two off the top of my head, the one that I'm going to talk about, and then Dune, actually three, and Nude. Nude and Dune I regret getting rid of in the past. Actually, you could probably go down a whole rabbit hole with these. There were a few others, some Aveda fragrances, because they don't make them anymore. But anyway, the point that I'm making is that once a fragrance goes out the door, I don't really think about it much more. I just kind of let it go. However, Estee Lauder Sensuous Nude is one that I regretted giving away. This is an eau de toilette concentration, discontinued if I'm not mistaken, not made anymore, and pretty hard to find. I did come across a bottle on Mercurial. I bought a travel spray first just to make sure if my scent memory of it was accurate, and it was. And so I went ahead and got a full bottle from someone else. And I'm gonna tell you what, this is, I put it in my cozy sweater fragrance shelf. Why is that? This is an intimate fragrance. Once you spray it on, it doesn't have a whole lot of projection, although it stays on your skin for a length of time. And it depends on the weather what you pick out first. But a vanilla, woody, coconut fragrance. But if the weather's different, that reverses. It can be a coconut, vanillic, woody fragrance. Either way, it's a really comforting, lovely fragrance that works in the summer, but also in the winter. And it gives you a really cozy, delightful feeling. So glad to have this back in the mix. Next up are three fragrances from the Herrera Confidential line, a line that I adore. My very favorite is the Maison Lancome line, although this Confidential line gives that one a run for its money. So I'm going to start off with Iris Empire, which is a win, absolutely. Iris and violet and notes like that that are on the cooler end of the spectrum, they don't come across warm, can sometimes be challenging depending on how they sit amongst other notes or accords in a composition. This is warmed up a little bit by leather. There's a hint of spiciness in here. There's a bit of earthiness. There's also something very ambery. And in fact, most of the fragrances in the Confidential line have a strong like amber accord, this sort of resinous, sticky, viscous feel to them. Feel like in terms of the texture that comes across to your nose. But Iris Empire is on the cooler end of the spectrum compared to the others in the line that I've tried, but grounded by those earthy, leathery notes and the spices. This is a joy to wear, very long lasting and decently projecting as well. So absolute win on this one. Next in the line is Mystery Tobacco. I've had my eye on this fragrance for a very long time and wanted to find it on a decent discount, and I finally got it. This fragrance opens up very strong, like a wet, dirty patchouli tobacco that's rotting, like for very quick seconds, you know, and then it dries down into this super elegant, woody tobacco, very reminiscent of distinguished gentlemen in paneled libraries with leather couches, sipping on fine whiskey and smoking Cuban cigars in particular. Delicious Cuban cigars, freshly rolled right there in front of them. So I'm glad to have this fragrance. This is a win. It is sitting on my husband's shelf because he really likes woody tobacco fragrances, but you know, I purchased it for myself as well. So I will be wearing this winter quite a bit. And the last of the three from this line is Burning Rose, another one that got really popular for a bit and then seemed to disappear from the gray market. And then I found it again at a great price. I like this fragrance a lot. I don't love it, but it is really pleasant. It reminds me a lot of leather. I don't get what other people get from this. Like a lot of folks have talked about this smelling like an incensey rose. And I don't get that. I get leather, like a really soft, worn, comfortable leather jacket that you've had for years and is nicely broken in. So there's like the subtleness of the leather that still comes through with a very soft, delicate rose on top. There's nothing really burning. I don't get any incense. I don't get any harsh notes. I find this to be a very smooth fragrance, softer spoken than the name would suggest. Okay, so what I mean by that is it's a very smooth fragrance. There's nothing harsh. There's no edges to this. It's really nice. Not for general rose lovers, okay, because you're going to get that leather earthiness. So there isn't actually leather in this. If you look at the Carolina Herrera website, it tells you that there's patchouli and myrrh in the base, and perhaps it's a combination of those that is coming across leathery. Nonetheless, I get leather and a nice, soft, fresh rose with some woodiness. I had to turn up the brightness because the night has fallen on me, you all. Next is a fragrance that didn't go over well in my house, but I really like a lot. Like a lot. This is from Tiziana Terenzi, and it's an exclusive for Barney's New York called Lunanera. Okay, the only way that I can describe this is the most grown-up version of Johnson & Johnson's baby oil with some aromatic touches. There's something about this to me that is so divine on me. No one else in my house liked it. They all thought it was too overpowering. Of course, I sprayed, 11 times, as the expression goes. And for those of y'all that don't know, that's 9,486 times or something equivalent. But I really love this. So imagine, like I said, this elevated, elegant baby oil smell with some powdery touches to it. So you smell clean, you smell sleek, you smell fresh. And you smell a little bit sexy too. Like if baby oil could be sexy, I know that is the most bizarre thing that I could say, but imagine a grown-up baby oil. That's all I can say. Okay, here you go. And it's a yes for me. This is a happy blind buy. So the next one I purchased, I got a sample from Lulu at Lulu's World. Hey Lulu. And I adored this fragrance the second time that I tried it. The first time I tried the sample, I thought, this is okay, a little strange, and I put it aside, but something happened in the dry down, and then I tried it again and thought, yeah, I absolutely need a bottle. It's from Maison Lancome, that line that I love the most, and I am not entirely sure how to pronounce this. Maybe you know, Tubereuses Castane or Castane. Listen, the reviews on this are mixed. Some people talk about this being a little oily on their skin. I don't get that. I get a really soft, elegant tuberose with like a chestnutty, milky accord, maybe even bordering on creamy, although still more on like the milky, cloud-like side. And there's a sweetness from a tonka bean in here that I think is just exquisite. This is elegant, this is warm, this is cozy. This is like the softest cashmere sweater imaginable. Huge win for this one. Next, I have two Demeter fragrances. Listen, I just enjoyed this whole library of fragrances. There has been, a dud, maybe two, but for the most part, I enjoy them. But the key with Demeter fragrances is to know what you're getting. They have oils that tend to last longer and they're softer. And then they have these big cologne sprays. They also have candles and other kinds of products, but these are the big long-lasting ones that you can use as both a body spray or a room freshener or to freshen your linens or whatever. So this is Christmas in New York, actually one that's kind of hard to find on the gray market. I don't know if they sell it straight on their website. I've got to go check that out. In fact, I should probably order some candles from Demeter because I enjoy their scents so much. Great cinnamony, like snickerdoodle, Christmas cookie with all of that sort of festive Christmas stuff all rolled into one. Imagine walking into a Christmas shop. You don't get like a heavy cinnamon broom kind of a smell. There's cinnamon in here, but lingering with other gourmand bakery and baking kinds of smells. I am going to really enjoy this at Christmas time, both in the air, on my skin, in my hair, mixed with other fragrances that are great for the season, either other really spicy fragrances or like sweet gourmand vanillic fragrances. Speaking of sweet and gourmand, I'm going to try to layer these two at some point soon and have some fun. Vanilla ice cream from Demeter. Smells like vanilla ice cream. This actually smells better than something I'm going to share with you, but it's a pretty realistic, okay, let me just, spoiler alert, this smells like waffle cone. I have Whiff of a Waffle Cone, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but this is what I was expecting Whiff of a Waffle Cone to smell like. Really delightful vanilla smell with that like doughy fried dough or pressed, you know, bready thing that happens with a waffle cone. That sweetness, the vanilla, the sugar, the carby smell you get from a waffle cone. So these two together I think will be really interesting. They're great alone, and I think they're going to be really fun layered together and with other fragrances. So while we're on the topic of vanilla fragrances, I am going to talk about two that are in like the meh category for me. I'm not willing to give up on them completely yet. I'm going to try them some more and see what I really think, but initial impressions were these are just okay, and then one of them was almost a flop. So I mentioned Whiff of a Waffle Cone, a fragrance that I have heard hyped and hyped and hyped on YouTube as smelling just like a waffle cone, like you walk into an ice cream shop, a slightly burned or crisped waffle cone. So I want to smell that in here. This is an indie company, and you know, you want to support indie businesses. This is imaginary authors, and it tells you here the vanillas. It tells you here the notes are vanilla, heavy cream, salted caramel, amyris, orgeat, cinnamon, Saigon cinnamon, and ice cream shop. I get no cinnamon at all. I don't get caramel. I do get some vanilla. My issue with this is that it opens up, and it's the same thing that you're going to hear in the next review. It opens up with something that smells what I call gaseous, like a gas. I don't even know what kind of gas. Something at a gas station gas-y, but not quite diesel-ish, maybe in that direction. But not a natural smell, and not a smell that I associate with a gourmand fragrance. Now, I will say about this, that smells better. When I first tried this, it was just a disappointment in comparison to what I was expecting. I did a really silly reel on Instagram, just having a little bit of a joke about my experience with Whiff of a Waffle Cone. The second time I tried it, it was a little bit better. And just now when I smelled it, it smells better. I don't know if this is a fragrance that has to sit for a while. I don't know if imaginary authors, you know, bruise up the batch, you know, as it gets ordered. I have no idea. I don't know what's happening there. We shall see. I'm going to keep it in the collection. I did try it again recently on skin. I still get a somewhat unsatisfactory experience. Like, it's okay, but it's not amazing. I'm willing to try it at least a couple more times before I decide it's absolutely staying or going. So that's what's going on with that one. Then yet another vanilla fragrance, and this one hasn't been hyped up. In fact, this one came out with very mediocre reviews straight out of the gate, and it's Vanilla Musk. Now, the mediocre reviews are mostly on the part of fragrance reviewer kind of people like myself, if we want to call ourselves that. However, on Sephora, if you check out on the website, the reviews are more mixed on there, with some people really loving the fragrance. I think that I don't know of these two, you know, which I like more. I like some aspects of this one more, and I like some aspects of this one more. Anyway, this opens up with that same gassy thing, and then smells, once you get past that opening, it smells exactly like how Breyer's vanilla ice cream smells. And it's Breyer's because it has the natural ingredients, the vanilla bean in it and all of that. When it melts, the smell that comes up from melted ice cream, which is a pleasant smell. It's like a milky smell, right? Definitely vanillic, definitely soft, definitely a comforting smell. However, there's something lacking. I also get like a cereal-ish, like a crushed wheat cereal, maybe even an oatmeal-y kind of a smell. So I think in that sense, I like this one more than Whiff of a Waffle Cone, although I do still think this has some promise somewhere. So jury's a little bit still out on these, not so much so that I'm not going to keep them on my shelf and wear them again. I will, but I gotta be honest with you all about the initial and the second and the third impression. So I'm gonna go for a fourth and a fifth on these, and then I'm gonna let y'all know how I feel. We come next to two super hyped fragrances here on YouTube, and with good reason. And I tell you, they're both wins. First is Mercurial Cashmere from Electimuss. I'm a little bit late on this train. I have to laugh at us when we say things like, we're late to the Electimuss party. are you ever really late to a fragrance party? I mean, if the fragrance is good, you can wear it whenever. But so I joke myself and us for saying that. But Mercurial Cashmere is this beautiful cloud-like fragrance. It's highly feminine and intoxicating. There's tuberose and sweet notes in here. And I just feel very, very girly when I spray this on. Oh my gosh, beautiful. It has some depth and character to it. Maybe even a little bit of like some purple kind of notes to match my outfit here. But I consider this a very cloud-like marshmallowy fragrance. It doesn't smell like marshmallow, but it has like consistency of marshmallow, like something really pretty, ballerina-ish to me. Mercurial Cashmere, and one that people say smells like BR 540, Baccarat Rouge 540. And yeah, I think there's some similarities there. Trajan from Electimuss. Yes, yeah, you definitely get the BR 540 vibes. But I find this to be a little bit woodier and a little bit brighter. So lovely fragrance, a big winner in this house. Actually, both of these are beloved in this house. Kids like them. Hubby chases me around when I put these on. Yeah, bottles are fantastic. So big wins here. A fragrance you will see in an upcoming sandalwood and woody fragrances video, Roberto Cavalli Supreme Sandal. It's got fingerprints on it, I'm sorry. But this is an earthy, spicy leather. Definitely leans a little bit to the masculine side, but there is vanilla in here, a sweetness underneath, heavy fragrance, powerful, strong, beautiful sandalwood. Luscious, just a luscious, deep, woody, spicy sandalwood fragrance. Period, end of story. Pretty cool bottle. Big yes. Next is a fragrance that I have to say I think is leaning towards a fail for me, although I need to give it another full wear before I give up on it. And for now, I'm glad I only purchased a little mini bottle. These little minis are just so stinking cute. But it's from Bvlgari and it's called Iris Dior. So my issue with this fragrance, it is heavily iris. However, it doesn't, which I don't, iris can be a really great note, like an Iris Empire that I started the video off with. But there's something so cold about this fragrance that it feels dark. Like it makes my soul, my heart feel sad and dark. It has some greenness and some woodiness to it as well. And I don't think there's anything else in here to round out the composition, at least right now. That said, there is some beauty in here that I want to explore. I don't want to give up on this because I can smell that there's something else there that I'm just not giving a chance to. So another wear for this one, but for right now, it's leaning toward a possible no for me. Then I got a little bottle of Casmir or Cashmere from Chopard. Okay, this fragrance is interesting. I think it's a strong like, not a love. It comes across vanilla, it comes across sandalwood, it comes across a little tiny hint of like a fruity coconut in the background, mostly vanilla and sandalwood, some hint of spice. I think this is a more mature fragrance, not one that I find to be very playful at all, okay? This has been heavily compared to Ylang in Gold, although some have said that it's not as sophisticated as Ylang in Gold, and then others have said that it just lasts longer than Ylang in Gold. So, I don't have a bottle of Ylang in Gold to speak of. If you've tried both, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I do want to report back out on a fragrance that I mentioned before, and I hate the bottle on it, so I've said that. But so it's Delizia de Marshmallow from Kyse Perfumes, and I do just want to report back that this is a beautiful vanillic marshmallow, a powdery vanillic marshmallow or marshmallowy vanilla fragrance that's definitely worth checking out. So if you like that kind of a thing, if you love it when you open up the bag of marshmallows and that powdery sweetness hits your nose, this is what you get here, especially as this fragrance calms down more. It's been in my house now for a couple of months. I understand that the owner does these by special, order, by batch as you order them. And it has become just a delightful fragrance. I have two more to share. One that I was convinced I didn't want a bottle of and then tried again and decided, yeah, I do need this. And it's Indigo from Nest. So this is one that I have a mini of and I've tried over and over again. And it's one of those things like when you spray on and you're sticking your nose in something, it's too much. Sometimes you need to spray and just sort of allow the wafts to come up to your nose. And because that's how everyone experiences fragrance. Very few people are like right up in your face, sniffing on your neck. Some are. Hopefully your significant other. But the fragrance here is a bit of a mysterious one. It is both green and aromatic, which are scent profiles that I like, but then it also has this warmth from tea and fig. There's also like this cashmere wood thing happening in the base that gives this some grounding and some warmth and some coziness. So at the same time that it's like a cool, aloof, mysterious fragrance, it's also warm and enveloping and comforting at the same time. I do enjoy the bottles from Nest. They haven't all been wins for me, but I really, I'm glad I gave this fragrance another chance. It really does deserve a second, third, fourth, maybe even a fifth sniff. So this is a winner. I'm going to end this installment with a fragrance that really surprised me. I tried it in store and I liked it fine. It didn't wow me. Not that every fragrance has to wow us. We're always saying that, oh, it's not groundbreaking. It didn't wow me. It didn't blow my socks off. I'm guilty. I say that all the time too. And fragrances don't have to do that. I mean, do they all have to like blow your mind? Can we have some fragrances that are just pleasant and nice? Anyway, I did think this was a nice fragrance and I went ahead and ordered it because I saw it on discount, and it's Victoria's Secret Bear. Now, the Victoria's Secret site says that this is a mandarin, sandalwood, and violet fragrance, but I swear this has some kind of soft vanilla in it. So it opens up really bright, effervescent, but perfumey and soft, very subtle, very like frilly edges to it. But as it settles down, it becomes super duper cozy, a beautiful your skin, but much better skin scent. You know how people say, but you know, your skin, but better. This is your skin, but perfumey better scent. And it does have like this sweetness, floral touches. Is there something more than violet in here? You know, we don't know, but I have this on my cozy fragrance, my cozy sweater weather fragrance shelf, because that's what it immediately reminds me of. Although I think this is one of those like chameleon fragrances that can transform and fit any environment you're in. It can go from morning, hanging out, drinking your coffee, to office, to date night, to go to bed scent, and everything in between, running errands. This is super duper versatile. And I think the bottle is gorgeous. Really nice cap on this. So this is a win for me, Victoria's Secret Bear. And that concludes this episode of Blind Buy Chronicles. Let me know your thoughts about these fragrances in the comments. And if you're enjoying this series overall, I have another lined up of this from other fragrances that I have purchased. And then I think I might slow down. Oh, who am I kidding? Because it'll be the holidays after that and Christmas time and time for more. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. You all are fantastic. I appreciate you. Until the next video, take care, my friends.